Chapter 70. The jungle floor glittered yellow gold as a breeze clattered leaves in the treetops. Shadows of calm browns and greens returned when the air stilled. Laura found herself drawn back to the ancient temple, back toward the dark passage with story pictures. It felt too prophetic to ignore. The remaining hunters in the story were injured, but healing. They began to climb something as she walked further into the shadows. Boom came from deep within the temple. Did these people not want their story told? Why? What would happen if she reached its end? A horrible truth would surely be revealed. Boom! She could hear a girl crying from the deepest dark. Running out again, she found herself back in the white padded room. The room wasn't spinning as fast this time. She wriggled herself closer to the camera in the corner. I promise I won't hurt myself. I have medicine now to help. Please let me go. The camera made no movement. Then a voice came from somewhere. Who should release you? You. Me? Yes, she answered. A pause. I can't. Of course you can. Really? Are you sure? What are you talking about? Maybe you better think about that. Looking around the room, she found no box or wire screen covering a speaker. Where had the voice come from? Laura felt like she was losing it. She felt crazy. There was no speaker. How could a voice be reaching her unless it was from inside her head? Anxiety blossomed within her. She was hearing voices. Hopefully this was just a side effect from the drug. But this was just a dream, wasn't it? Maybe you could hear voices in a dream and not be crazy. This jacket is too tight. No one broke open the door to the white room. No more voice answered her. Who was going to save her? It certainly wouldn't be her father. He couldn't even save himself. And she had no other living family. This was the dream. Yes, yes, yes. Her head was getting clear from the drug. She had not disclosed to her best friend, Samantha, about her undermining Project X. She didn't want to involve Samantha and endanger her in that way. No one knew of her plight except the FBI. Where were they? She really liked Jeff. She would love for him to save her, but he couldn't. She imagined he would be here if he could, but she had freed him from this place. She was alone in her mind. Even the drug state was her creation, rigidly maintained by nanotechnology, unchangeable once created. She tried imagining Jeff with her, tried to unconsciously summon at least his dream essence to appear. He didn't come. Trying to imagine a knife on the floor, a rope she could hang from, a hungry bear, a wild African lion. None materialized for her. How did she dream herself into this prison? It was completely unfair. Many criminals deserved this more than herself. She wasn't trying to do anything bad at all. She was trying to help people. Malik should be here, not her. Deep hate for him sweated out of her pores. The terrible project he no doubt created for power and self-gain was wreaking its ugliness evermore. A world of lies surrounded her, misusing her feelings, disregarding her desires, hindering the good actions she could do for the research subjects, ravaging her sense of reality. This was wrong on so many levels, it made the padded room spin faster. How could anyone remain sane in such a place? Laura was never briefed on the full nature of the project. She was informed of parts on a need-to-know basis only, and she was sent simply to monitor the psychological health of the subjects. The deeper workings of Project X were known only to Malik. She hoped she had anticipated everything correctly to get the subjects out given her limited knowledge, but perhaps she hadn't. Perhaps she hadn't considered the dream's full impact on her sanity. Sometime within the last week, she had become a subject of Malik's research, perhaps. Was she ever a Project X team member? Or was her employment just a ruse to entrap her here like the other subjects? It was getting to feel more and more like she was part of this experiment, a variable being manipulated, rather than a scientist facilitating research. Arms confined in the straitjacket, legs cuffed together at her ankles, Laura twisted and flopped about on the floor like a fish out of water. She began a frightening, mad cackling,